Hello folks, welcome to the channel and welcome to the Man Cave. Well, if like me you've got a BMW, in my case a GS, and your bike has got one of these, and this is the navigation cradle mount, and when you bought your bike, either new or second hand, you thought, you know what, I'm not going to pay the £600 that BMW want for their connected ride navigator, or the older version of that, the Nav 6. I'm not going to pay the 600 quid, I'm just going to sit there and stare at the blanking plate of the cradle mount. Well, there is actually something else out now on the market which may be of interest to yourselves. So what are we talking about? Well, we are talking about something from Chinese manufacturer called Chigee, and they are taking the market by storm at the moment actually. I've already got one of their units, the camera unit as well, on the bike. That's why I've taken this off. I'm gonna have to put that back on now to show you this. So yeah, Chigee, they are gonna be market leaders in all things to do with navigation for motorbikes and CarPlay and Android Auto and all that kind of stuff. Well, we are the first week of July, and this from Chigee, the AIO-5 Play for BMW, specifically for BMW. Well, this is set to launch end of July, beginning of August, so they're taking pre-orders now, and basically this is supposed to fit into that, which I've got to put on the bike, and then you'll get full functionality of the navigation Whizz wheel, and you can basically, from your iPhone or your Android Auto, you can mirror everything on the phone onto the screen. This is going to cost you about £398. I've got their AIO-5 LITE camera system unit on the BMW, and it is by far the best thing I've had on the bike. It's a super unit. There is a review in the description down below, so go and have a look at that. But if you're not interested in all the camera stuff and all that kind of stuff that goes with it, and you just want something very simple that you just plonk in the cradle, then stick around. This is going to be for you. So before we unbox it, let's roll the intro and then we'll have a look at this. So let's roll the intro. Welcome back everybody. So before we take the unit out of the box, I'm just going to say that anything to do with Chigee, however you pronounce it, I found them to do things to an extremely high standard. Now, whether that be their website design or whether it be the way that they package things, Chigee do things right, and I will say no more than that. So here's the box end, the AIO-5 Play for BMW. Very nicely packaged, pretty much like an iPhone actually, and a lot of bump on the back there. We've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, online navigation, 60 frames per second, and all that stuff. IP68 waterproof, nothing on the bottom and on the side here. Original bike tire pressure, wonder wheel control, quick installation, and 1000 nits is the highlight screen, and that pretty much is. So let's undo the packaging. I like this bit. So what do we get in the box then? So this is the unit for BMW. So let's have a look then. So we've got a film protector there, screen protector, and 4 buttons on the top. They feel nice. Then we've got the BMW cradle mount connector pins here, so they'll transfer a lot of data from the bike to the unit itself. Looks like a bit of a speaker or something there. Carbon fiber effect. Chigee, bit of branding. Nicely put together. And then we've got, obviously we've got a slot under here for an SD card, and that pretty much is it. And then obviously the recess here is for the mount, for it to go in the mount, and the top as well. So that is specific for the BMW cradle mount. So what else do we get in the box? Let's have a look. So there's nothing else in there. Let's get rid of that. And what have we got in here then? That's empty. We have AIO-5 Play for BMW, user instructions version 1.0, and a couple of barcode things there. And yeah, just some instructions. Again, all the Chigee stuff is very well put together, very well presented. It really is good stuff. Have a bit of a read of that later. Just gives you all the specs and how to use it. Yeah, that's good. So that's the instruction thing. and then we get a key ring, and there is a screwdriver in there, or whatever kind of driver that is. Let's open it up, shall we? So we have key fob thing and some stickers, and that, folks, is what we get in the box. Whilst I've got the cradle mount off of the GS, I just thought I'd put the unit into the cradle mount just to show you how it goes in there. So it goes in there really well. That's all locked now with the key. You're not going to get that out of there at all, and it goes in very nicely. Again, the quality of the materials used on the unit are top notch, and it just goes in there very well, folks, very well. So very happy with that. Well done, Chigee. Chigee did actually send me the unit free of charge to review, so thank you very much, Chigee. And what I've done is I've actually just removed the unit that's currently on there. That is the AIO-5 LITE from Chigee. Again, they sent me that one free of charge. Thank you very much. And that unit's got the dash cam and the blind spot detection system, so that's been removed, zip tied to one side on the front of the bike, disconnected the power, and I've reinstalled the BMW cradle mount and also reconnected the power supply to that. So what we're going to do then is put this in the cradle. But first, let's remove the protective screen cover. Very childish, but very satisfying. There are several things you have to do before you can actually go and use the unit. First thing you've got to do is activate the unit. So pop it in the cradle, turn the ignition on, and then just follow the automatic on-screen instructions. It'll tell you what to do, but you do need access to your home Wi-Fi or use your mobile phone as a hotspot. So first thing you've got to do is activate the unit. So I've already activated my unit, so the next thing we've got to do is make sure that the unit is actually wearing the latest software. Now you can do this by two methods. So the method that we all do is over the air updating using the Wi-Fi, which is built in here. So Chigee have told me, because the unit isn't for general release just yet, in a couple of weeks time it will be, they haven't switched the update software button on yet. So they did say, could I possibly use the 8GB card that they supply the unit with, which is located in the bottom of the unit behind this weatherproof seal. Remove the two screws using the screwdriver that Chigee supply you with, and then get a flat bladed screwdriver because my fingernails aren't long enough. Push the SD card in, it's spring loaded, so it may very well ping out if you're not careful. And then you can go to the Chigee support center, I believe it is. I'll put a link in the description down below, and then just follow those instructions to load the software from Chigee onto the SD card, and then pop the SD card in the bottom here, and that'll tell you how you need to format it. Doesn't take too long, it took me no more than 2 minutes. And then if you do use the SD card method, when you put the unit in the cradle and then power it up, then it automatically goes into the update software process, and you see a couple of gear cog kind of things as it goes through the update process, and that will take about 1.5 to 2 minutes to update the software on the machine using the SD card. But generally you can update the software by going into the menus and using the over-the-air software update via Wi-Fi, but I use the SD card method. And having updated the unit to the latest software, which as of the 7th of July is version 1.1.9, no doubt that's going to change. It just means that we get some extra features on the data page on the unit, which are very good. So as the unit itself is not a standalone GPS navigation system, it is a smart device, so it relies on your mobile phone to send all the data to it to display all those good things that you can get from the apps that you can go and purchase or download. So if you've got an Apple iPhone, it's Apple CarPlay, or if you've got an Android phone, it's Android Auto. In my case, it's an Apple phone, so I'll be using Apple's CarPlay on here. So you need to pair your phone to the unit itself, so just go into the settings and then pair your phone to the unit, and again that takes no more than 1 or 2 minutes, and that is everything done. Before we crack on, folks, let's just talk about powering the unit to pair your phone to the unit. Two ways: either pop this very simply into the cradle, turn the ignition on, away you go, and then just pair your phone to the unit, or before you get to the bike you can sit in your lounge or your kitchen, just play around with the unit, and you can actually power it by removing the waterproof strip at the bottom here, and then just put a USB-C plug in the bottom there, and then plug that into a plug, and then away you go, and then you can pair your phone to the unit in the comfort of your armchair. So that's two ways you can provide power to the unit to then pair your phone to the unit itself. So folks, just to clarify then, we can do the whole setup process without putting the unit into the cradle for power. So we can power the unit via the USB-C connector port in the bottom. So you can do all that setup before we get to the bike. I hope that makes sense. Big benefits then, so the Play version is some £100 or thereabouts cheaper than the Lite version, and it is portable. That's it, you take it out of the box, there's no cables to install, and there are no cameras. So it may very well be that you don't want the camera system, or you've got a separate camera system. So all you want is the unit. So that is a great benefit of this. It really is. Take it out of the box, install everything on it, and then just plug it in, and you have a very secure installation, and it all looks OEM. Very nice. In case you're wondering how far does it stick out from the mountain cradle, it sticks out, let's have a look. It sticks out something in the region of 10 millimeters or something like that, about 10 millimeters. Is my BMW compatible for the AIO-5 Play for BMW? Well, here is a list from the Chigee website. The only exception is the K1600. You've just got to purchase the Bluetooth module, which then connects the Whizz wheel to the unit itself via Bluetooth. On the back of the unit, we've got lots of these connection pins here, and then we've got this orangey red weatherproof seal, and those pins connect to the pins on the BMW mountain cradle, and basically the brains of the BMW send via those pins lots of information to the Chigee, which can be displayed on the unit itself. So the unit has now been inserted into the BMW cradle and locked, and it is nice and secure, and folks, that is not going to go anywhere. What normally happens when you turn the ignition on, the system will power up, and then you will go to the home page. So that's normally the default page when you turn it on, and then whilst your mobile phone, whether that be an Apple phone or an Android phone, is connecting to the unit, the default page is the home page, as you'll see, and then when it connects, it will automatically go to the CarPlay page in my case, or if you've got an Android, it will go to the Android Auto page automatically. So let's turn the ignition on. You're going to hear a few beeps from these things here. That is by another company. That is a standalone blind spot detection system. So don't worry about the beeps from here. So let's turn the ignition on. There we go. You should see Chigee on the screen. Ignore those beeps, folks. There we go, Chigee. And then the unit will go to the home page. So that's the default page. And then my phone will be talking to the unit. It will go automatically to the CarPlay page, just like that. There we go. These units are not standalone GPS navigation units. They actually rely on your phone to do that. So they just mirror the information from your phone onto the screen. But it does have a GPS built into it, and that gives you the GPS speed, a compass heading. It may take a little while for it to register the satellites up in the sky, depending on the location you are when you start your ride. What you're going to notice at the moment is that the Whizz wheel has actually no effect at all on the top display there. So you're going to be wondering, well, how do I control the Whizz wheel? Is my device broken or what? It's not broken actually. I don't know if you can just see down here. Let's move the handlebars. On the top left of the lower TFT, you've got TFT highlighted, and then greyed out, for want of a better word, is nav in a little box. So what it is saying is the TFT is being controlled by the Whizz wheel at the moment. So what we need to do is actually control the top display, i.e. the Chigee. So how do we do that? Well, by using the menu button here. So long press on the menu button, and then you'll see the display down here change from TFT, and it's just popped across to nav. To go back to the lower screen, just press the lower part of the menu button, hold it in, and then you'll see it change back. So let's go to the top screen, hold the top of the menu button in, and it then changes to nav. So now we can control the top screen, i.e. the Chigee, with the Whizz wheel. So just a long press to the right will just scroll through the main pages of the Chigee, as you can see here, and then back to the home screen, and you can go to the left and scroll back through the other way. You should actually have functionality with the Whizz wheel sort of up and down, but as you can see here, nothing is happening. The only functionality we have at the moment is scrolling with a long press to the right or to the left. So if you find that that's the case, what you're going to have to do to activate the up and down bit of the Whizzy wheel is actually go into the settings and then go to features, pop down to RC, which stands for remote control, and then at the bottom here, enable vertical scrolling. Just make sure that that is slid across and the blue is highlighted. That means you now have functionality with the up and down vertical scrolling of the Whizzy wheel. So we will have a quick look at the various screens then. So this is the home screen, top line, load of icons, got a little satellite dish here. That's saying that we are not receiving any GPS signal at the moment because we're in the garage. When we are receiving GPS satellite information signals, that goes to blue. So if we go to settings, go to features, go to GPS, number of satellites being received, 0. That's because we are in the garage man cave. Then we have the BMW and nav. Nav is highlighted, which means the Whizzy wheel is being controlled by the nav or the Chigee, which is the top display unit. The time and the sunset time, local time currently, and the sunset time where we are. I believe that that sunset time may actually be to do with the time on the phone, etc., and maybe not GPS related, so I'm not sure on that. Anybody knows, make any comments down below. Then we have the GPS speed, currently miles per hour. You can go into settings, go to features, go to more, and then you can set either miles per hour or kilometers per hour, depending on where you are in Europe or in good old UK. And then we have some trip data, and you can actually reset that. So that's just distance traveled and how long you've been on the road for, kind of thing. And if you press that in for a number of seconds, I think it should go back to 0, which is what it does. Then we have a compass, again based on the GPS. These may take a little while to sort of fire up actually whilst it's trying to find the signals, depending on where you are. And then this is very interesting actually. This is the tire pressure monitoring. Now, as BMW, when I bought this, I did actually spec up the tire pressure sensors. So the great thing about the play unit, because all those pins on the back, it's actually taking information from the brain of the motorcycle, and one of them is the tire pressure sensing stuff. So it will display it on here as well, so you don't need to get the Chigee optional additional tire pressure sensors because you've already got the BMW one. So that's a great feature of the Chigee play unit. So we can actually go into there and we can set parameters. So you can set warnings to come on the screen either below a certain value or above a certain value, and set other things as well on the screen. So at the moment, nav means it's sort of coming through the brains of the bike, and if you had the optional Chigee units and then you screw them onto the valve stems, then you just select CG TPMS, so the Chigee TPMS. So a nice little feature if you've got the OEM tire pressure sensors on your BMW. So that's nice. And as I said, if you set the parameters and the pressure drops either below or above those parameters, then there is a warning gets displayed on the screen. And then at the bottom then, just quick access buttons to the Apple CarPlay screen. You know about that, so just use the top buttons to go to the home screen. Then we have this page, which is the data page. Go back home, and then we have the settings. So that's pretty much it actually. So that is the home page. And then before we leave there, so at the top then you've got a load of buttons, 4 buttons. They're a little bit awkward to get to with a gloved hand. I've only got sort of medium-sized fingers, but I can get to them fairly okay. If you've got big, chunky, fat fingers, then you might find that a little bit of an issue. But one on the left is the home screen, and then you can use the next button along. That will just scroll through the main pages. There we go, and then back again to the home screen. And then you can actually darken or turn the display off, but the unit will still be on if you just don't want to see the display. And then back on again, so that just turns the display off if you're sick and tired of it basically. And the final button is the screen lock button. So if you press it, screen lock, and basically if it's chucking it down with rain, you can lock the screen whichever page you're on, and it will stop the raindrops affecting the screen. Whether you've got an iPhone or a Garmin, they all do it. It's the touch capacitance nature of the screen. So if you want to then unlock the screen, just slide that up and the screen becomes unlocked. So folks, that is the home page. Next up then we have what Chigee call the professional dashboard. I'm just going to call it the data page. That's far easier for me to remember. So basically the brains of the BMW is sending information into the Chigee and displaying it to you, the rider. I've actually had to start the engine of the bike because the battery was getting a little bit low. So you've got a variety of rev counter displays on the top, digital format, a rev counter, and then a horizontal bar to the top right, which you can see just lighting up in blue there. You'll notice that the speedo is in kilometers per hour. Chigee are aware, and they will be changing that with an option to go kilometers per hour or miles per hour. Indicators are now on. Bottom left icon is lighting up, as you can see on the lower TFT as well. Right hand indicator is now going to come on, and you can see the icon on the bottom right is now flashing for the indicator. The other icons on the bottom there, you have two look like wheels actually. Press the front brake and the one on the left comes on, so that means the brakes are on, and I couldn't reach the right hand rear brake pedal, and yeah, that would come on yellow orange as well. So you've got a fuel icon will come on when you get to the reserve level, and I have no idea what the mountain is for. A quick dab on the Whizz wheel to the right will bring you the second page of the data pages, and it's just got a little bit more information displayed to you, the rider, in a different format actually. Again, you've got a gear indicator, tyre pressure monitoring, range to service, total range. Again, in the next update you'll have an option to go from kilometres to miles per hour. Press the bottom right hand arrows and that will just flick you between the pages, or just a quick jab of the Whizz wheel. But it is a very nice little page to have, and I actually quite like that data page, or as Chigee call it, the professional dashboard page. And next up then we have, in my case, because I've got an Apple phone, this is the Apple CarPlay screen. I've got my motorcycle glove on just to show you how responsive the 5-inch screen is. It's a lovely, vibrant, bright screen, and it's very easy to read, folks. On the left-hand side, time, signal strength, battery life left on the phone, and then the last 3 apps that you've been using in the column here, and you can access those apps just by pressing on them. And the bottom left hand corner is just a way to scroll between the full page and the split screen, which you can then go into those various options. Hopefully you can see that. If your phone doesn't work, then you don't get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto basically. In relation to the icons, you can go into the settings on your phone, not teaching you to suck eggs, but you can go to the settings on your phone, and if an app is playable on CarPlay, it will be there in the CarPlay section, and you can just decide whether you want to have that app shown on the screen or not basically, and then you can actually change the order in which things are shown, or the apps are shown on the screen. But it is, there we go, check battery. Dear me. Yeah, just a very nice screen. Very, very nice. So how do we access the apps then? Method 1 is using your finger. So we can access the apps using your finger. And then obviously the bottom left is a split screen option, or return to the home menu of the CarPlay screen. Left hand side, we've already spoken about it, and you've got the last 3 open apps on the left hand side. Obviously this is the Chigee for BMW, and we've got access now to the lovely Wonder Wheel, both vertical and left and right functionality. Just making sure that the top screen, the nav screen, Chigee screen, is actually selected, so we can use the Whizz wheel with the top screen. So just make sure the top menu button has been pressed to engage the Whizz wheel on the top screen and all that good stuff. So basically we can use the vertical functionality once you've switched it on, obviously, and then you can just scroll through. You can see the black highlights there. So you go to phone, music. So if we want to go into maps, just do then a short press, and then we're able to access the maps, and then a short press again, and that will take us out of maps, and then just continue rotating the Whizz wheel to select your other apps. As simple as that. This is not a full video on how to use CarPlay. You just go and play around with it, folks, because I'm going to run out of motorcycle battery soon. So let's just go into maps, and then we can scroll through again, and everything is highlighted. And I just want to show you the zoom in, zoom out function. So let's highlight the plus sign, and then what we can do is actually enter that, and there we go, we zoom in. And then if you want to zoom out, you can't just go the other way. You've then got to highlight the minus sign, and then again we just zoom out as well. So folks, that is absolutely damned good, that is. I like that. So how do we then get back to the main screen? So I just think it's a case of a quick press on there. No, let's have a look. There we go. No. And then to access the main CarPlay screen, just keep rotating it. There we go. I'm new to this, so just keep rotating it. So if you want to go to music then, so we're in the music. There we go, let's highlight that. And then we can enter, so my music. I've got a Cardo Pactal Edge and it syncs absolutely seamlessly, really, really good. And that really is about it, folks. So yeah, I'm not going to teach you to suck the proverbial eggs. It's just a very, very good system. You've got to just play with it. Another function that the unit does have is to access Siri. So you can just merely press the indicator button in and that will access Siri. Okay folks, so we've come to the end of the video. It's about 27 minutes long. I do apologise for that, but I thought if you're looking at spending upwards of £400 on one of these units, I thought that it would be only right and fair that I give you a thorough review. As you can see down here, I've actually got the AIO-5 LITE just zip tied to the front there. I get sent lots of stuff to review and try out. Needless to say, the Chigee device is actually permanently fixed to the bike and will remain on the bike until something else, either from Chigee or somebody else, comes along and betters that. But I have to say, all the stuff from Chigee is top quality, and I think as of today, it is quite firmly at the top of the tree. It is that good. Those of you that have got these units will know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it's a super unit. Basically, if you don't want the hassle of putting all the cables on the bike and you don't need the cameras because you don't want a camera system, or indeed you've got a camera system already, then as long as you've got the BMW cradle mount or mountain cradle, then I would just go for the Play version. Just plonk it in the cradle and it's absolutely fabulous. 5-inch display. It's made with premium plastic. It's got an aluminium chassis, I believe. It's got very good silicone waterproofing inside. It's just a great unit, but obviously it's not a standalone navigation device. It does rely on your phone, as all these devices do that are currently on the market at the moment. It does rely on your phone to provide the display, the smart display, with all the information and data. But as far as the Chigee AIO-5 Play for BMW goes, it's absolutely superb. I really like it. And obviously with the integration with the Whizz wheel now, both left and right and rotating upwards and downwards, it's an absolute super system. It's yeah, got no complaints with it at all. If I was going to be super critical, it would be, the only thing I would say would be that if you haven't got inbuilt tyre pressure monitors like I have on the BMW, and you actually don't want them, you don't want to fork out the however much it is for the Chigee ones, then you're really stuck with a tyre pressure monitor display on the home page, as we call it. So it would be nice if you could possibly just select what display icons you wanted on the home page, but really that would be the only thing that I would sort of be super critical of. And I'm really picking at straws here, just trying to find something wrong with the device. It's just, I really like it, folks. Well, there's nothing really negative to say. It's just a fabulous device. Yeah, it works great. You can use the Whizz wheel just to scroll through all the main pages. I really like this new data page that they've got, that they're pulling out the data from the brains of the BMW. Yeah, short stab with the Whizz wheel and you can go to the second page depending on what your preference is. A short stab again and we go back to that page. That's really good. There's no, you don't need to lower your vision to the lower TFT. And as far as the unit goes in the cradle, I'm 5'9" and there's no obstruction of the top of the BMW TFT whatsoever. It just works. Anything that Chigee do, they do really, really well. So I like that screen. In relation to the CarPlay, just decided to not talk to my phone. There we go. In relation to the CarPlay, yeah, that just works really well. CarPlay is CarPlay. You just got to sit at home, cup of coffee and play around with it. That's another whole video actually. Yeah, that works really well with the Whizz wheel integration. Yeah, you can just scroll through, go into music. It's just brilliant, and then come back out. Yeah, it just works really well. Works really well.
there's nothing more to say really. And what was the last page? Can't remember. There. Back to the home page. So that's it, folks. Make any comments in the comment section down below. As of the 7th of July, Chigee are taking obviously pre-orders. It's being they're shipping them out at the end of July, beginning of August, I believe. So Chigee have given me a coupon discount code. I'll put it in the description down below. If you want to use it, fine. It just helps me out, it helps the channel out. I get a little bit of a kickback, but that's from the main Chigee.com website, not Chigee UK. And I've got a lot of my bits and pieces from Steve at a bike thing. I'll put a link in the description down below. Yeah, if you live in the UK and you want one a little bit quicker when they come out, then go to steve@abikething.com. Again, link in the description below. And yeah, buy it from him, doesn't bother me. But that's it, guys. There's nothing really more to say about the Chigee. And obviously the benefit is it's hassle free. It fits in there really well. Display is brilliant. I can't, folks, I'm struggling to fault it. Yeah, just go and buy one basically if you don't want the cameras. But I'll be putting the AIO-5 LITE back on the unit, on the bike later on, taking the cradle off because I like the camera system, etc. And the mirror system that they have. But go and check the Chigee website out. Fabulous, fabulous bits of kits, guys. Yeah, there's nothing more to say. And at the end of the day, when you're going to a hotel room or wherever you are for the night, if you want a tour, you can just undo the key or turn the key, undo the unit, take it off the bike and pop it into your pocket and then just walk away, knowing that you've got your nice £400 unit nice and secure in your hotel room or whatever. But on here, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. It is nice and secure with the lock key and all that kind of stuff. That's it, guys. Nice and wet. It's a Chigee. It's great. Enjoy. Comments, please. Ride safe. See you again soon. Very good, guys. It is very good. Bye. Finally, folks, back in the man cave. A little bit on the damp side, so when we switch the bike off, the final thing that the Chigee does is that it gives us a trip log of what we've been doing today with a countdown. So there we go. That is the final thing from Chigee, which is their trip log. Very nice. Bye bye.